you? Now that, to me, is an intriguing question. And if you've ever been in a relationship and your spouse says, who are you? Anyway, you know you're in serious trouble because who you have been portraying is not who they think you are, and there's a huge question. But today we want to ask the who question. We want to ask this in terms of God. We want to take a look at that, and we want to take a look even at ourselves, and we want to take a look at Jesus. Now, the scripture that we're going to look at is a scripture I went through not long ago in Matthew chapter 16, verse 13 through 17. But we're going to reframe it today because scriptures, again, depending on how you look at them, that we can learn different things from it. But I want to focus on finding out today who you are. And so in Matthew chapter 16, Jesus asked this question. We're going to start with Jesus asking that particular question. And he asked the question in terms of himself. Who am I? Not in terms of that they could define it, but it was in terms of how other people or what other people thought of him. But it really isn't what they thought of him. The question is about who is he? So in Matthew chapter 16, when Jesus came to the region of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, who do people say the Son of Man is? And they replied, well, some say John the Baptist, others say Elijah, and still others Jeremiah, or one of the prophets. So there's this wide array of ideas of who he is. Not what he is, but who is the Son of Man. And of course that is a direct reference to himself. Who am I? And who are people saying that? Now, that kind of array of responses is not unlike our world today. People who see Jesus in different ways, see the Son of Man in different ways, and what he has done and how he has done things. But the question is, who is he? But then he comes back to his disciples now, and this is a question then, all of you are disciples of Jesus. Who do you say he is? So that's the question for you. Who do you say the Son of Man is? Now, it's interesting in this is that Jesus does a lot of clue giving even in the question. It's presented in such a way that he is laying out clues for us. And Simon Peter answered, you are the Christ, the Son of the living God. Now, here's an interesting thing that we want to take a look at in terms of Jesus' response to Peter and his answer. Because I think it's very imperative that we understand, when we think about the who part of this, God's involvement in it, in understanding Jesus, the Son of Man. And so Jesus replied, blessed are you, because you're able to give me, or you see the who part of this, who the Son of Man. Jesus said that you're blessed. And he says, blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah, for this was not revealed to you by man. So I'm going to suggest that the who that we're going to understand today isn't revealed by man. And I think also when we think about our own selves, who we are, that revelation isn't just revealed by man. I mean, ask yourself, if you were defining who you are, how good a job would you do in defining yourself? How accurate would you be in defining who you are? And by the way, would you or I find that how we described ourselves, that would all be kind of in a physical context? So I am African American, I am elderly, I am this, I am 5'10", I am a person that weighs this much, I am a Californian, I'm a man, I'm a woman, whatever it might be. This is how you might describe who you are. But is that truly an accurate description? Well, on the outside, it may well be a fairly accurate description, but is that really the question that we're looking for, or the answer to the question that is being asked of us? So he says, well, it's not been revealed to you by man, but by Father in heaven. And then he goes on, he tells Peter about, again, part of who he is and what he is going to be doing, in the sense that he tells you, I tell you, Peter, that you on this rock I'll build my church. So he begins to tell Peter some things about himself that even Peter did not know. Now, I think it would be interesting if Jesus were here and he would ask you the question, speaking of you, meaning all of us, ask us the question, who are you? And how would we answer Jesus in terms of who are we? We might say, well, I'm a Christian. That's who I am. Or we might say, well, I'm a father. I'm a son. I'm a daughter. This is who I am. And I think it'd just be an interesting response. And then maybe Jesus would say to us, who does the Father say you are? Whoa, stop and think, who does the Father say you are? Just some interesting things. So Jesus, in answering these questions, as I say, he loads it up with a lot of clues, in the sense, whom do men say that the Son of Man am? Who am? And he's just like, can you get the idea? We're talking about the am part of this. Am is a state of being, not just what I do, but who I am. And then he says, but who do you say that I am? Could that be part of the answer that I keep trying to help you to understand? The Son of Man is the I am. That's who I am. So, who are you? And their response to you, who? And of course, as I'm saying here, as Jesus said, that's been revealed by the Father, because it makes all the difference in the world. Now, there's an interesting question along the same line that is asked back in the Old Testament. And this is Moses' encounter when he is encountering God on the mountain in Exodus chapter 3, in verse 12. And God is telling him that he's going to go and he's going to bring his people out of Egypt. And so how does Moses respond to this? And God says, verse 12 of Exodus 3, I will be with you, and this will be a sign to you that it is I who have sent you. And when you have brought the people out of Egypt, you will worship God on this mountain. And then Moses says to God, suppose I go to the Israelites and say to them, the God of your fathers has sent me to you, and they ask me, now notice the question that they ask, what is his name? Then what shall I tell them? God doesn't answer the what. What am I? No, notice how God answers, and God says to Moses, I am who I am. It isn't what. It isn't, well, what I am is spirit. What I am is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. No, he doesn't answer the what. He answers his what question with, who am I? I am the I am. That's how he responds to that. And I would suggest to all of us that sometimes we get caught up in the what's and the how's, and we do not get to the who. And I would suggest to us that God, and Jesus is telling us here and helping us maybe to see, that the primary focus that we should have on who is God. Not what is God or how is God, but who is God. Now, not that the what and the how is not important, but it is secondary to who God is, because we're going to take a look, and I think it suggests to us, it changes our whole perspective on everything and gives us a greater understanding than we might have had before.
Feeling the blues today, or tired of life already? Do you have questions about life, or need spiritual advice? We can help. Log on to worldwidechurchofgod.com or wcgfairfield.blogspot.com and stay connected to reality. The Worldwide Church of God in Fairfield, Santa Rosa, and Modesto are located in the San Francisco Bay Area, regarded as the most prosperous region in the United States. We believe Jesus Christ when he proclaimed in Matthew 6:24 that serving God is more important than serving mammon. We welcome everyone to come and worship and fellowship every Saturday at the times listed on your screen and on our website, worldwidechurchofgod.com.